Let's get another update from Borongan, Eastern Samar. David Santos is joining us today. Hi, David.
Hi, I'm actually in Dolores, a town in Eastern Samar. This is, if you recall, Typhoon Ruby may have been downgraded to a tropical depression, but if you recall, Dolores town was the area where Typhoon Ruby, which was a typhoon, then made its first landfall here on Saturday evening. Now, we're continuously checking on the situation here, no, especially that many of the communities here are still reeling from the impact of then Typhoon Ruby. Now, the priority for the government and relief agencies is for food and temporary shelters to reach the worst hit communities in the northern part of Eastern Samar, which includes Dolores. Now, disaster response officials are saying that all roads or all road networks are now accessible to many of these affected communities. In fact, relief assistance has arrived in some of the towns, like here in Dolores, around 400 sacks of rice arrived last night. Now, but these are continuously being distributed now in many of the communities that are needing help now. Aside from the sacks of rice that had arrived last night, more help is really needed for many areas in this northern part of Eastern Samar. Dolores town, for example, has a population of 46,000 people, according to Mayor Emiliana Villacarillo. 80% of the homes from the 46 barangays were either severely or totally destroyed. Now, many of the residents here are just making up for what is left of their homes. Others are temporarily staying in evacuation centers. Now, again, just like the governor from Marinduque you spoke to earlier, here also more appeal for aid is also being made, not only by residents but even by local officials. Now, there are some factors that is affecting somehow, that is slowing down what could be the response of the government as well as other agencies are trying to bring in help. One, some roads still have limited access. No, a landslide incident in Barangay Camada in the border of Borongan City is also slowing down traffic in that particular national highway. So far, only one lane of that highway is open. Although VPWH personnel have been working overtime to be able to totally clear that highway from mudslide so that it can be totally open for transport, for mobility, for all the help, all the relief assistance that will be coming in from either Tacloban City or other parts of Samar and Leyte. Also, we also noticed that many roads leading to Dolores, if you're coming from Borongan, are undergoing repair, or there have been road construction projects even before Typhoon Ruby had struck this province. So now many of these road projects are still unfinished. So this is also slowing down traffic in many areas, leading to communities affected by Typhoon Ruby. So if you are a relief agency and you're bringing in relief goods, expect traffic to slow down in some of these some of these roads, which only one lane is open. Also in Julian Town, which is also affected by Typhoon Ruby, a bridge there has to limit the number of vehicles that can pass through. I understand we've been told that only vehicle transportation with capacity of 5 tons can cross that bridge in Julian Town. So that again will limit any transportation that will be bringing relief goods. It has to make sure that it can only carry, that it only has a capacity of 5 tons, so it can cross that bridge, that important bridge leading to Dolores. Now, of course, there is still no power, there is still no communication. Communication remains a problem since it can affect the coordination between authorities here in Dolores, the local government, as well as relief agencies who need to coordinate with either in Tacloban City, with Borongan City, the provinces, the provincial capital, even in Metro Manila. So again, that is also slowing down response here in Eastern Samar. Also, LGUs like Dolores are also running out of fuel. So vehicles, Mayor Emiliana Villacarillo was saying that many of their vehicles have now limited mobility since they are also running out of fuel. Now, we have an update on two island barangays in Dolores. There were concerns earlier that there have been no word from these two island barangays on the status of the conditions there following Typhoon Hagupit. Mayor Villacarillo had updated us, and she said that she has got word that Tikling and Hilabaan island barangays, there were no reports of casualties in that in those two island barangays. Good news for Dolores, but she just got a report that many, like in many areas in Dolores, many of the houses in the islands of Tikling and Hilabaan were also destroyed. Now, in other towns in in the northern part of Eastern Samar, particularly Maslog and Hipaad, the authorities are saying that they have limited access to these towns because these towns remain submerged or surrounded by flood waters after the Dolores and Oscar rivers overflowed at the height of Typhoon Ruby. Now, accessibility, these towns can only be accessible by boat or sea vessels, so that again is also affecting any coordination, any possible distribution of relief in those two towns. Finally, when we traveled from Borongan to here in Dolores, we passed two towns. This we noted at least in two towns. These are the towns of Taf as well as Sulat. Now, we've noticed that some of the residents there have placed SOS signs in the side streets with the words "Help us. We need food. Tulungan nyo kami" in Barangay Mantang. There's also in the vernacular like buligi kami or tabang. Now, these were the same SOS. If you recall, these are the same SOS signs that we saw in the aftermath of Typhoon Pablo as well as Typhoon Yolanda in the past 2 years. We are just hoping that this is not any indication on the kind of response that the relief agencies are bringing into these communities. The fact that residents have to place these SOS SOS signs outside their homes. Our concern now is that there's a possibility if these signs, these calls, these appeal for help will not be responded immediately, there is also the possibility that some residents in these communities may eventually resort to begging for food, begging for aid in the streets, as what we have seen had happened in Davao region, in Compostela during Typhoon Pablo, as well as in Tacloban and other parts of Leyte and Samar during Typhoon Yolanda. Mai?
Okay, please, for help, reminiscent of the scenes of Yolanda in the aftermath of Super Typhoon Yolanda. Stay safe, David. Thank you for that report. David Santos giving us the latest from Dolores, Eastern Samar.